Katie, Katie, let it out with Katie, let it out with Katie Dalebout, enthusiast and curator of people and ideas you need to hear.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to a special edition Friday. You guys hardly ever hear from me on Fridays. Episode of my new podcast, Let It Out with Katie Dalebout. It kind of rhymes, and I love it. So today's episode is 17 questions, and don't count them because it might be slightly more or slightly less than 17, but that's the original amount that I had for none other than New York Times bestselling author Gabby Bernstein. You know I love her. She's been on the show a couple times before, and I know you'll love this episode too. Really quick, if you do like it and you want to support the show, there's lots of ways you can do so. You can tell a friend about it. You can leave a review on iTunes. That doesn't cost a thing. And you can also support the show by signing up for Gabby's Spirit Junkie Masterclass through my link. It just tells her that I sent you, and it's really helpful. So if you do decide to sign up for her Spirit Junkie Masterclass, I've already talked about it a ton, so I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. But the way to do that is through the link in the show notes, or just simply going to my website, katiedelebout.com/masterclass, and all the info will come up there. So enjoy the episode with Gabby. I'll talk to you guys next week. All right, everybody. None other than New York Times bestselling author, amazing spiritual teacher, and also my friend and mentor and one of the kindest people I've ever met in my life, Gabby Bernstein, is here with me on the phone, on video, right now. How are you, Gabby?
I'm so good. I love being with you, honey. Yay!
Yay! Yay! Shake it out! This is what we do. I do this all the time when I need to, shake something off. I just think of that meditation that we love, and I think of you, and I just shake my arms wildly. I do it a couple times a day at least. All right, so I'm here with Gabby, like I said, and I have got her for 17 questions. We've got time on the clock. We only have 17 questions. Let's go. Let's do this. You ready?
Ready.
Okay, so favorite song right now, song of the summer, what have you been listening to on repeat lately?
Oh, wow. Well, as we were just talking, I went to see Florence last week, so I have been listening to the Dog Days song over and over and over since the show. So it's actually my favorite song in the whole show. And so I've had that on repeat since last week.
I actually you sent me a Snapchat of it, and so then I was like, I need to re-listen to that song. I haven't listened to it for a bunch of summers, but I remember it was the Eat, Pray, Love trailers song in the movie trailer for Eat, Pray, Love, and so I always think of I always think of, and I was traveling in Europe that summer, so I always have these really good, you know how a song can just give you a good connotation? So I always think of that. And her Shake It Out song, I always think of you because of our meditation. All right, favorite place you've traveled to in the last year?
So many. I had a really good experience in Austin a few weeks ago or a month ago. And maybe it was less about Austin, but more about the people I was with. Yeah. But Austin's cool. I think it's a hip place.
It's super cool. I have family there, actually.
I also loved Whistler. I went to Whistler in the last 6 months. So many places. Whistler was really nice.
So cool. I've never been there. I'll have to visit. But I love Austin. What's the biggest lesson you've learned recently, in the last year?
Get real about what's up or it will keep showing up.
So good. Greatest lesson about family?
Good one. Don't be afraid to feel rage.
Mm-hmm. Greatest lesson about relationships?
Be authentic.
Greatest lesson you learned about mentorship?
When it comes to having a mentor, give to them. as you have been given so generous with me as my friend and my mentee, and the same for me with my mentor. It's like my mentors, I've just always been of the mindset that I am here to be of service to them because their work and their presence has served me in so many ways. So I actually don't really ask my mentors for much other than, obviously spiritual guidance or help, but I don't ask them for, too much worldly things, just because I feel like they've given me so much just in their teachings and who they are.
Yeah, and I think the beauty of now is that you can have mentors regardless of whether you know them in person or not, and just
Yep.
follow their work online, which is great. What is the greatest lesson you've learned recently in career slash entrepreneurship?
Hire people, hire good people, and just don't be afraid to just spend a lot of money hiring really good people. And whatever a lot of money means to you right now, it's worth every fucking penny. And I was severely understaffed for 15 years, and only in the last 3 months have I actually like hired the proper staff of people, and it's saving my life. It's literally saving my life.
Oh, that's so amazing. I recently hired someone to help me with the podcast, and I totally feel the same way.
Doesn't matter how much you pay them. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter where you are in your career. Like, I wish I had been doing this even when I was just living hand to mouth. I wish I had had that mentality of hiring people, not spending more than I had, but hiring people to support me.
Yeah, totally. That's such a good one. What do you think are some qualities that make a successful entrepreneur?
Well, definitely back to the hiring, like the skill set of being able to hire well. Like, I didn't actually, I attracted a lot of the people that have worked with me, which has been sort of like a natural thing. But my husband happens to be really good at hiring. And so that's a new skill set that I admire in an entrepreneur. And he's been kind of cleaning up everything and hiring a bunch of folks to help us. I think that one of the key things for being an entrepreneur is to be willing to work your ass off, but not at the expense of your well-being. And I see a lot of people just work and then stop living. And I was one of those people. And so, especially easy when you're passionate about your work and your work is serving a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
you just sort of have a lot of excuses for workaholism. So I would just say be really conscious of that.
Yeah, that was a big one for me really recently. I really just transferred my addictions that I had with food and body to work. And
Yeah.
then I woke up one morning and I was like, oh, I need to focus on my life. And that's the path that I'm on
Glad
now.
that you're getting that now, Katie.
Yeah.
Good. I was going to have a little sit down with you about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a process,
I
like you
learned
were
the hard
saying,
way.
but
No, I'm going to write a book about work addiction one day.
oh,
It's not-
good.
There's no 12-step meeting for work addicts, but it's like one of the
Yeah.
addictions there is.
And it's kind of celebrated in a way.
It's 100% celebrated. It's like people always would celebrate me. Oh my God, I can't believe how much you do. I can't believe
Yeah, me too.
not.
Yeah.
can't believe how much you've created. And it's like, I look back and I'm like, that is sick. That is
Yeah.
not right what I was doing without any support or without the right support.
Yeah. Okay, well, because we're talking about that, I'm going to separate these next two questions. So I want to know what makes you most proud about your life first, and then what makes you most proud about your career second.
So I think what makes me most proud about my life is my willingness to look at my fear and move through it. I'm not an avoider, and I want to heal. We all have a reason that we need to heal. Many, maybe. What makes me so most happy about my career is just the people that I get to touch and the people that have the willingness to open up to the work that I'm giving. I mean, it's like it's just such a blessing to be able to share something that you believe has transformed you with people who are ready to receive it, and that's honestly like the greatest gift and pleasure for me.
Me too. Okay, so I always joke with people, but it's kind of not really a joke, that you created your Spirit Junkie Masterclass specifically for me. And I obviously know it helps a lot of other people too, but I really want to know, and I've already told my listeners this, that I've had such a impactful experience with it, but I want to know from you, why did you decide to create it? When was the moment that you decided to create it, and how has it met those expectations or exceeded those expectations now that it's become what it is now and has this big digital presence?
First of all, I did create it for you in a sense because there's thousands of you out there in the sense of people who are on this path of personal growth and development, who have a call within them to carry their message in an authentic way, who are ready to take it to the next level. Like in your case, you're ready to go to the next level. In some people's cases, they're just ready to gain the confidence to step out and start. But it's all the same, right? It's people that are ready to just be given permission to go.
Yeah.
Permission, the business building tools, the marketing chops, and the spiritual foundation to say yes to their dreams, whether it be professional or personal. And I created this training because I started to see so many people in my world, much like you, just wake up, and just start to get really elevated by their own personal practice. And in their personal development, they started to hear an inner voice saying, I got to share this, which is your story, right? It's like, I got to start my podcast, or I got to write my blog, or I got to get the word out, or I got to do my book, or I got to share this in my existing career, right? And I felt a very strong level of responsibility that if I was going to teach people how to wake up, I also had to teach them how to share what they were learning and to share what they were experiencing. And so that's why I created the training. And it became very, very clear to me, and I think I always sort of had intuitive hits throughout my career, that I was going to create a school. I actually used to channel that a little bit early in my career when I would just be in my own meditation practice. I would see a school. I was like, I'm going to have a school. And this is my school. This is Spirituality Masterclass. This is my school. It's a training for people on a personal growth path, a path of personal growth and spiritual development, who want to share that inspiration and wisdom with the world in their own unique ways. And people do it through podcasts and blogs and coaching and yoga, but they also do it in their law firms. And we had 5 lawyers in our last live training. Cool. Maybe even more. There might have been 7. And it was literally this massive group of lawyers. People in the profession of fashion, or people in the profession of theater or art. And they're using this masterclass training to, 1, gain the confidence to step up and rise up, and 2, to really just own their voice and own their confidence. And then also to get the business building tools and the marketing tools to get it out into the world. Because it's one thing to have the confidence to do it, and it's another thing to know how to.
Yeah.
And so I created the digital training, which is out right now. Training, because so many people kept saying, we only have 300 tickets in New York City. We keep it small just because we need to have some level of intimacy at that event, even though 300 sounds like a lot, but it's not. And so we'd keep it small. And then not everybody could travel to New York, or the weekend wasn't available. And so I was getting emails from people all over the world. Can you make it online? Can you bring it online? Can you bring it online? And I honestly, you guys asked for it, so I had to do it. And so I've made it, it's over 20 hours of content, and it's live from the live trainings, from all 3 live trainings. And the content is amortized over 8 modules. And so it's this really beautiful learning experience because you can watch the live event beautifully shot. You feel like you're in the room.
Yeah.
You can put your headphones on and you feel like you're in the room.
Yeah, I've done both, and it's the same.
Yeah. You feel the same, yeah.
Yeah.
And some people have gone through digital and they've come through live, and they just say that they had an equally profound experience. It sounds like you said that, it's and different in some ways. The best thing about digital is that the content never ends. Every year, keep adding on to it.
That's what's crazy. I honestly had to text my friend, our mutual friend Steph, when I was talking to people about spiritual. People have been sending me a lot of questions, and I was like, "Wait, they don't get lifetime access to this, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger." And she's like, "No, they do." And I was like, "Wait, what? This is insane. This is so it's right now. It's 3 times, the first one session of live. So it's just there's so much info packed in there, and it's just going to get growing and growing and growing."
We're adding almost 7 more hours.
Oh my gosh!
From the last live to this one,
it's so amazing. So, you asked your mentor Marianne Williamson a long time ago how you can teach and share your message with your generation. And I don't know if you remember this, Gabby, but I called into your radio show. That was the first time we ever spoke.
Of course I remember.
I was 22 years old. And I was a mess, and I called in on the phone, and there was 30 seconds left, and it's bring on what, you were let's do one more caller, and it was me, and you were like, oh my gosh, you're so great. You're the guru. Just be real. And you just said all of these powerful things in that 30 seconds that changed my life. And you're like, connect with me online and I'm going to help you because I can't do it right now because I have to get off the air. And that was my call to say, how can I share this message with my generation? And now you made Spirit Junkie Masterclass for me. That's really what I think this call was. And so many more people like me. And it's so beautiful that you give these examples of starting a podcast or a blog or writing a book of the things that can happen after Spirit Junkie Masterclass. And I love that I get to be an example of a bunch of those things. And it's so cool. So
you're actually like a big example I share a lot because so many of our alumni have gone on to, get published and do TED Talks or start their podcast or put their blog out in a bigger way. And you are definitely one of those prime examples. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's an honor. So what do you think that your 25-year-old self would have said about where you are in your life right now?
That might make me cry. I'm seriously going to cry. I think that my 25-year-old self would say, girl, you did good.
You did. She's right. I'm giving you a hug through Skype right now. Can you feel it? So I know that you used to journal a lot when you were younger, and I know that I love the practice of journaling, but what was that experience like for you when you would journal when you were younger? When you pull out your journal now, what is it like for you, and how does it allow you to be present and connect?
I think there's something sort of sad. It's like my practice of journaling was before I went to bed, and that was like ritual. Like I have thousands of journals, right? But when I moved in with my now husband, I stopped journaling because I was in bed with someone, So I kind of, thanks to you and your book, I actually was really inspired to get back into journaling. So I started like trying to journal after I meditated or bringing it back into my life in different ways. And so it's still a goal because I really need it. And actually, particularly right now, I feel like I need it.
Yeah.
Some of the things I'm going through. So I feel like, it's funny how you get into a practice and it's like, this is the only way I do it. But that's not it.
Right.
There's a million other ways I can journal. And so I think it's time to get back in. Thank you for asking.
Cool. Can I send you a specific episode? I wish there were episodes. A specific tool from my book that I think would be really good for you.
Yes,
okay, cool. I'm excited. All right, I'm going to prescribe that. So what is something in all of your years of meditation that has surprised you about meditation?
I just learned a new meditation practice. I'm speaking at this meditation event this weekend for this event called this program called the Heartfulness Institute. And there was this new meditation practice that's just like 30 minutes, just focusing attention on your heart. And that was sort of surprising to me because I was like, at first it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, am I visualizing? Am I sending light to my heart? Am I feeling something? Am I touching my heart? But you're not. You're just sending attention there. And that like heartful attention has been something that since they taught me this meditation, I've been bringing it into my daily practice. And it's been just beautiful. Like, it's hard to explain. And I think it's been surprising because it's not something that I think you can explain. I think it's something you have to experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's really fascinating. I love that. Yeah. So you just wrote a new book, and we won't talk about this too much because I think we can talk about this maybe another time too. But I just have to tell you that I already told you this on Snapchat, but I'm obsessed with the cover. Like, not to judge a book by a cover, but I just can't wait to I can't wait to add it to my shelf, my Gabby collection. But what about this book is different from your other books, or is there just like a one-liner that we can get excited about?
This book is probably the deepest of all my books, and it's very timely. The subject, it's called The Universe Has Your Back, Transform Fear into Faith. And we're walking around with a tremendous amount of fear and uncertainty. And so I wrote this book to give people a deep dive back into their relationship to a higher power of their own understanding so that they could feel a sense of connection, a sense of safety in these uncertain times. And so there's beautiful lessons and beautiful tools and all these great messages throughout the book. But most importantly, there's just a direct through line back to your relationship to a higher power.
Cool. Well, first of all, the cover really reflects that, I feel like.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah.
it's very mature, and it's just, I don't know, I like all of your book covers, but Ing's book cover was so perfect for Ing, and it just really speaks to the book that you're on. And yeah, I love that. And then going back to what we were talking about before about Spirit Junkie Masterclass and how there were lawyers in the room and there were, politicians, and there were all of these different people, especially speaking to like the things going on in the world, that connection to a higher power of our own understanding, as you always say, and just being in the flow, being connected, feeling that force is so important for everybody in any job, not just entrepreneurs, anyone doing anything. If we could all be in that space, the world would just be this beautiful utopia, wellness wonderland. So I think that's really powerful.
That's, that being the reason why I created the training as well, was just because I feel that we have so many voices of negativity and fear and racism, and I mean, just even with our fucking candidates, it's like the stories and the chaos coming out of people's mouths, that we need to have more people waking up to an empowering conversation. And so that's why this training is very much a leadership training for spiritual people, spiritual entrepreneurs, spiritual business people, so that they can bring that message out into their world in a very profound way. Because, man,
yeah, totally. So to lighten things up a little bit, what is something that made you laugh really hard recently that you can think of, maybe in the last week?
I do recall laughing really hard recently, but I went sailing with my father-in-law and my husband, and my father-in-law was like the whole time, like, I love when things go wrong because that's such an adventure. And we're like, just about to come into the, I don't even know what it's called, but like head into the channel, and the motor stops because you're just motoring in, and the sail's down and the motor breaks. And so my husband and my father-in-law like try to like bring the boat to a buoy while we wait for the sea tow to come. And I was sitting under the boat just laughing my ass off because these two guys are just bugging, And it was really funny. It was so funny.
Isn't it funny that like the things that might not seem like you're not supposed to laugh at are always like the funniest things?
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Like it's so funny. So what is something that you ate that was just really delicious recently? Maybe tell me about that pizza I saw on your Instagram from Wanderlust.
People, yes. They put this like delicious cabbage salad on top of this insanely delicious gluten-free pizza.
It looked so
It's
good.
the most amazing meal I've ever had in my whole life. It's amazing.
Yeah, after all of those photos, I was like, next time you're speaking at Wanderlust, I'm coming with you.
Just for pizza.
Yeah, just for the pizza and to hang out with you. All right. What is something that you've read or watched recently that you want to recommend for people?
I'm reading Marianne Williamson's new book, From Tears to Triumph, which I find to be a beautiful book. Cool. And reading a bunch of galleys right now. My friend Regina Thomas Hauer, aka Mama Gina, has written a book called Pussy.
Oh, cool. Great title.
Coming out like 2 weeks before my book, and I just read The Galley. I think it's fantastic.
That's so cool. She's really cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So I'm changing the name of my podcast and all of my work. I don't know if I told you that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm shifting away from the Wellness Wonderland. It served me for a long time, but now the show is called Let It Out with Katie Dalebout.
Great. Love it. Love it.
And there's a new little jingle, so you'll get to hear that. Anyway, so the last question now is, what is something within you now that you still want to let out?
Rage and anger. I know that sounds scary, but it's actually really healthy. I think so many of us walk around with so much like unfelt rage and anger, trauma and wounds, and I'm only kind of just visiting them for the first time. So I'm just like, really want to let them out, Katie. Like, that is my prayer to you and to God. It's like, let me let it out, because
let it out. That's your mantra.
So to suppress it,
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That's such a good mantra for you right now.
Yeah.
My book title, Let It Out, is your new mantra. That's amazing. So thank you so much for being my mentor and my friend. Thank you for creating Spirit Junkie Masterclass Digital. Thank you for creating the in-person one. Thank you for creating all of your books. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Is there anything that you wished I would have asked or that you want to talk more about?
No, I love you. I think this is beautiful. And yeah, and if people feel called to get the digital, it's probably only a few days left to get it. So it's open until June 26th.
Yes. Link is in the show notes. Link is in the description box below. I've got a bunch of bonuses, and you've already heard all about those. So we'll talk to you soon. Love you, Gab.
Mm-hmm.